Picture this. A mother in a suburban kitchen in Ohio is on the floor at eye level with her 4-year-old. He is in the middle of a meltdown over a broken cracker. She is using every script she has learned. I see you are feeling frustrated. That sounds really hard. Your big feelings are welcome here. She has been doing this for 15 minutes. The cracker is still broken. He is still screaming. And underneath her calm voice, she is fighting back tears of her own. Now picture a mother in a small apartment in Sapporo. Her 4-year-old has just thrown a small toy across the room. She does not get on the floor. She does not validate the feeling. She does not ask him to use his words. She quietly walks to where the toy landed, picks it up and places it back in its drawer. She closes the drawer. She returns to what she was doing. The room is silent. And within a minute, her son walks over, retrieves a different toy from a basket, and plays calmly on the rug beside her. There was no script. There was no negotiation. There was no battle. And in the next 10 minutes, I want to show you what just happened in that Japanese apartment. Because it is not authoritarian parenting. It is not gentle parenting. It is a third path that the West has never had a name for. A short note before we begin. If you have practiced gentle parenting and it has worked for your family, this video is not against you. I'm not here to tell you that one culture got it right and another got it wrong. I am here because something has been happening in the United States for the last 2 years that almost no one is talking about honestly. Have you ever followed every gentle parenting rule perfectly and still ended the day feeling like you were running a small therapy practice that you did not sign up for? Have you ever read the script, said the script, lived the script, and still watched your child melt down, while you yourself felt invisible in your own home? You are not failing. You are reaching the edge of a method that for many families has quietly stopped working. Between 2024 and 2025, a wave of major publications began publishing the same article. ABC News, The New Yorker, New York Magazine, the CBC. The headlines varied. The harsh realities of gentle parenting? Gentle parenting is too gentle. Why parents are breaking up with gentle parenting. A research team at the Université Catholique de Louvain in Belgium has documented what they call the rise of parental burnout in Western countries. A 2025 study published in Nature Scientific Reports followed 36 mothers for 8 weeks of daily journaling. What they found was that the daily emotional labor of constant calm, constant validation, and constant self-regulation was producing exactly the kind of exhaustion that gentle parenting was supposed to prevent. The parents felt fed up. The parents felt emotionally distant from the children they were trying so hard to be present for. And here is the part that almost no one says out loud. The parents felt guilty for feeling that way. This is not a personal failing. This is the structural cost of a parenting model that asks 1 or 2 adults to do, alone, what entire villages used to do together. Japanese parents are not less stressed because they are better people. Japanese parents are less stressed because the cultural model they inherited does not require them to be a therapist, a coach, a validator, and a disciplinarian, in real time, every single hour of every single day. There is a Japanese word for what they do instead. Shitsuke. It is written with 2 characters. One meaning body, one meaning beauty. Literally translated, to attach beauty to the body. Figuratively, the slow patient shaping of a child into someone who carries themselves with grace. Not through punishment, not through fear. And importantly, not through endless validation either. Through something the West has almost forgotten how to name. The expectation that a child, given clear structure and consistent modeling, will rise to meet that structure on his own. Dr. Nobuko Uchida, in her 2012 book on Japanese child discipline, describes Shitsuke as a kind of scaffolding. Imagine a small building under construction. For the first months of its life, the building is surrounded by wooden frames, ropes, and supports. These are not the building. These are the structure that holds the building up while the walls inside are slowly hardening. As the walls become stronger, one beam at a time, the workers remove a piece of the scaffolding. Then another. Then another. Until, eventually, the building stands on its own. This is what a Japanese parent is doing. The parent builds the scaffold around a young child carefully and deliberately. And then, slowly, the parent removes pieces of the scaffold, one at a time as the child becomes capable of standing without them. By the time the child is 7 or 8, most of the scaffolding is gone. The child has internalized the structure. The structure has become character. Now compare this with the Western gentle parenting model, which often asks the parent to be the scaffold every day forever until the child grows up and the parent collapses. The Japanese parent expects the structure to dissolve into the child. The Western gentle parent often becomes the structure and never gets to leave. Once you understand the scaffolding, the 4 principles of Shitsuke begin to make sense. And they are not foreign. They are not Japanese in a way that excludes you. They are something the West used to know and then forgot. Principle 1, prevention, not reaction. This is the heart of what most Western parents miss. In gentle parenting, the parent is taught to respond to the child's emotional state in real time. In Shitsuke, the parent is taught to design the environment, the schedule, and the expectations so that the most common emotional storms have less reason to begin. The toy is put away before the playtime ends, so the transition is not a confrontation. The snack is offered before the hunger becomes a meltdown. The bath time is announced in the same calm voice, at the same hour, every single night. The Japanese parent is not constantly putting out small fires. The Japanese parent is quietly making sure the fires never start. And that single shift, when you make it, returns hours of your day to you. Principle 2. Model, do not lecture. There is a Japanese idea called wa, which roughly translates as social harmony. A Japanese parent does not explain to a 3-year-old why we use quiet voices indoors. The parent simply uses a quiet voice indoors, every single time, without exception. The child watches. The child absorbs. The child eventually does the same. Dr. Hiroshi Azuma, who spent decades comparing Japanese and American child development at the University of Tokyo, observed something interesting. American parents tend to talk to their children about behavior. Japanese parents tend to show their children behavior and let the talking come later, if at all. The child does not learn calm by being told to be calm. The child learns calm by living inside a calm room. Principle 3. Ask the question. This is the principle that, more than any other, has been quietly spreading among Western pediatric therapists in the last year. When your child does something you do not want, do not start with the correction. Start with one quiet question. What skill does my child need to learn here? A 2-year-old throws food. The Western reaction is, do not throw food. The Shitsuke question is, what is he missing? He is missing the skill of staying seated when he is finished eating. He is missing the skill of asking to be excused. He is missing the skill of placing the bowl on the table instead of pushing it. Now you have something to teach. And you can teach it tomorrow calmly in 5 seconds when no one is upset. This reframe alone, applied consistently, replaces 90% of what most American parents call discipline. Now I want to be honest with you because this matters. Japan is not a parenting paradise. The same culture that produces this calm, structural approach to children also produces some of the highest rates of school refusal in the developed world. Japan struggles with hikikomori, the phenomenon of young adults who withdraw from society entirely, sometimes for years at a time. There is enormous pressure on Japanese children to conform, to perform, to fit in. The same scaffolding that builds quiet character can, in its rigid extremes, build silence around real distress. There are mothers in Japan who carry an invisible weight that no scaffolding metaphor can fully describe. And there are children who, behind the calm exterior, are struggling in ways that the structure was never designed to catch. I tell you this because the worst thing a parenting video can do is sell a culture as a cure. What I am offering you is not the Japanese system. What I am offering you is a single quiet idea inside that system. That a child giving clear structure, gentle modeling, and the right question becomes a person who carries himself with grace. That idea is portable. You can carry it into your own kitchen tonight without buying anything Japanese. Principle 4. The pause that does the teaching. In gentle parenting, the silence after a child's bad behavior is often filled with the parent's words. We name the feeling. We narrate the consequence. We process the moment together. In Shitsuke, the silence after a small misbehavior is often left alone. The mother who returned the toy to its drawer did not lecture. She simply ended the behavior with a quiet action and walked away. The silence after the action is the lesson. The child reads the room. The child understands what happened. The child finds a different toy. The Japanese parent trusts that the room itself is teaching. The Western gentle parent often does not trust the room, and so the parent must do all the teaching, all the time, alone. 3 Japanese words. Shitsuke. Wa. Omoiyari. Shitsuke is the scaffolding that becomes character. Wa is the harmony that the family lives inside. Omoiyari is the quiet anticipation of what someone else might feel before they feel it. Together they describe a parenting culture that begins from a different assumption. That a child is not a customer to be served, and not a project to be managed. A child is a small person, already trying, already absorbing, already becoming. You can begin one Shitsuke shift tonight. The next time something small goes wrong, ask the question. What skill does my child need to learn here? And let the answer guide you calmly tomorrow. That is all. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with another parent who is tired of running a small therapy practice in their own kitchen. And if you want more on the world's quietest parenting traditions, subscribe. There is more coming. See you in the next one.